Joining me now is CTV News political commentator Scott Reid. Scott, we spoke yesterday, but hearing from Rodriguez this morning, again, you've known him for quite a long time, but what did you make of his remarks afterwards?
You could see how difficult that announcement was. You could see the look on his wife's face. You could see the look across his face. I think, the challenge remains, however, that the Quebec Liberals appear to be lost, completely lost at sea. Only a couple of months ago, Mr. Rodriguez had them within, a holding margin of error of competing for top spot in Quebec. And now it appears that the party is going to start from square one when there's only 6 months to go, or 10 months to go, I should say, before an election. So it's a messy situation.
And it still feels like, because we're not necessarily done with it either, right? That criminal investigation that's going to happen, into what actually, the ongoings of what happened with the leadership campaign, and then possibly what has happened afterwards with what happened with a businessman in Quebec too, in regards to returning some payments.
It's an incredibly important point. It's hanging over the party, the future of this investigation. Often the police do not like to speak to the status of an investigation of this kind, so they won't offer any further information. You just sort of zombie walk your way forward for what can often be months. And as I mentioned, 10 months from now, they have to go to the people. So that's going to be a big factor. And another factor is that it haunts the party internally. I mean, if you watch this drama over the course of the past 4 weeks, it's clear that this is a virtual civil war. This was incoming fire and divisions within the party, and those will at least leave scar tissue, if not remain freshly wounded.
And as we get through this, we get into the new year, and who knows how long that investigation is going to take. You mentioned it, 10 months until the election next year. We talked about the possibility of the PQ and the separatist, possibly another possibility of a referendum. It really does feel like there is nothing that's, the way has been paved for them into the next election, barring something else, wildly happening in Quebec.
Well, and think about this. Now, for the first time in I don't know how long, 20, 30 years, the country and Prime Minister Carney are going to have to get their head around this fact. You could have a separatist government again in Quebec. And not just a separatist government, not just the Parti Québécois, but a party that's dedicated to having a referendum on independence. And, Mark Carney is not a Quebecer. Clearly he often struggles in French. Yes, he's managed to attract a lot of support in Quebec and won a number of seats there. But suddenly, if he's thrown the hot potato in October of having to deal with a Péquiste government that's dedicated to independence, that is going to complicate what is already an incredibly complicated agenda for the Prime Minister. First he has to deal with Trump and trade and economic challenges, and then you layer on top of that a return to yesteryear and national unity challenges and the threat of Quebec separatism. It's a lot. 2026 is going to have a lot of cards to play.
Yeah, shaping up to be quite the year. CTV News political commentator Scott Reid. Scott, thanks as always.
Thanks. Have a great day.